Miscanthus grass is a giant grass originating in Japan. Similar to sugarcane, it grows from a rhizome but doesn't spread like bamboo. Ecology professor Steve Ratton has been working in a number of research projects involving the plant. He believes it shows great promise for a variety of primary industry applications.
We think this grass is a magic grass, actually. If we made a list, it would be something like shelter for livestock, biomass for burning in a burner, a carbohydrate fuel to make diesel with. We get more earthworms up to 100 metres downwind from it because the soil remains moister longer. And we get 18% more grass growth up to 100 metres downwind. There's a company in the USA, in Tennessee, that takes grasses like this and turns them into liquid biofuel. My dream is that farmers would grow miscanthus on their own surrounding farms, put it through this magic machine. What's called renewable diesel would come out the other end, and it can be used immediately in an engine. And the amazing thing is, it's very low in sulfur, and its cetane level, which is like octane in petrol, is higher than the cetane level of mineral diesel. This thing grows so fast that we reckon that per year we could harvest between 30 and 40 tonnes of dry matter, largely cellulose, every year, because there's a dirty great rhizome under the ground. So that's a massive amount of carbon, more than a poplar tree would produce in 1 year, certainly. And that massive amount of carbon can be used to make liquid fuels, of course. Dairy waste can be put on top of this grass, and virtually nothing goes down underground. It traps it physically, such as the organic matter, and the plant is so fast growing it takes it up from its roots. We're using it as mulches under the trees. And what does that do? No weed killers needed, more soil water, and actually more earthworms, and more fungi, which are beneficial fungi in the soil. So all these advantages of a healthy soil, which many farmers know about, can be enhanced with chopped up miscanthus under the trees, and it lasts for years without needing to be topped up. Some sheep milk companies are using it now as bedding for the milking ewes, and that's happening a lot in the UK as well. We normally like to plant in September, which is springtime, and the plant would be a metre high in the first year. And ultimately, maybe 3 years, especially when it's irrigated on a dairy farm, 4 metres in 3 years. And that's when you get the kick-in of 30 tonnes per hectare. Behind us here is a 7-metre wide strip, and that's ideal for using a maize chopper, so they can chop it up into pieces. They can stay on farm as a mulch, they can make them into pellets, they can burn them. All options open up at that point. The rhizome itself can be like 2 footballs in size, but we can take all these shoots off it, and each one of these pieces has lots of little buds on it, and each of these buds will be a new miscanthus plant. If you're using them for mulch, there are various options. I would use a coarser mulch like this one, which is a bit more dense and would not blow away so easily. If you're talking about fuel for a milk factory or something like that, you can co-fire that factory boiler with a mixture of the coal, which they're using now, let's say, and these pellets, which are crushed up miscanthus again. And these are really clever because there's no resin or glue in there, it's just pressure that puts them together. So you could burn that on its own, or you could mix it with coal that's already in use and co-fire it down the belt. These are also miscanthus, so you may not believe it, and it's crushed up and with a bit of resin, I think, and turned into these pellets, and therefore domestic home heating.
In addition to the other benefits of miscanthus that have been talked about, we found that miscanthus hosted quite a few different types of animals. Most notably was the endemic skinks. It was really good to see that this introduced grass that helps the farm, but actually can be used as an offshoot, as a conservation effort as well. One thing we looked at was whether having bumblebee nests or boxes would be used within miscanthus shelter belts. It was a really good result. We found that miscanthus provides quite a good microclimate or habitat for bumblebee nests. The obvious advantages of having bumblebee nests in, say, a dairy farm is that they can pollinate red clover. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the dairy farm that the nests are located in, but anywhere in the surrounding area. They also help pollinate other crops, sort of a supplement if honeybees aren't around.
Looked like a good thing to try out, yeah, since we have pivot irrigation, and yeah, I thought it might be a good shelter option and things. As far as blocking the wind, it's exceptional. In Canterbury, in particular the nor'west, that rips the moisture out of the ground like it's going out of fashion. So, you know, we can lose up to 10 mils a day here in a bad nor'west of soil moisture. So anything that can stop that. The cows, if they break into it, will eat the top, but it's a bit like sort of mazy cutty grass, so they eat it probably just to annoy you more than anything. But the actual bamboo, yeah, like baled up, I think it'd be far more use as a fuel for a furnace, and you wouldn't have to buy another tomato stake if you grew tomatoes in your life, because they're great tomato stakes. Yeah. It breaks the farm up nicely. Because we have a pivot irrigator also, you don't have any issues with it hooking on the pivot nozzles. These just go straight through it very easily, and so there's no issues there at all. I'm going to probably plant it in front of our house to block the road. It grows so fast. Within 2 years it's at full height, and like a 7-metre belt is more than thick enough so you can't see, or you know, even blocks noise through it. It's quite really good, yeah.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.